Chapter 32: Pacific War and the Impact of the Japanese Invasion. Japanese administration in the Philippines. The reasons why Filipinos resented the Japanese, kenapa Filipin indah suka ataupun cuba melawan Jepun di Filipin. Reason number one, the Americans had helped the Philippines. They had granted it self-rule. So semasa US belum ada Jepun, Amerika sudah janji untuk bagi diorang ni self-rule Commonwealth with 10 years promise of independence. Second reason, the Japanese took all the raw materials, food and medicines for their army. So this is for their own sake, Japanese. Japanese rule was harsh and cruel. The Japanese set up military government headed by Major General Yoshihide Hayashi. There was no freedom of press and speech. Political parties were banned. Anyone who opposed Japanese rule were badly punished. Many Filipinos had to provide forced labor. Remember the Kempetai? Just like in Brunei, these are one of the examples as well. As the result, there was a shortage of food and medicine in the country, so health conditions declined and trade stopped. Why some Filipino officials cooperated with the Japanese? Kenapa ada yang bekerjasama, cooperated? Because number one, President Quezon advised them to cooperate. Remember Quezon and Osmeña? So sebelum Quezon tinggalkan Filipin menggunakan submarine, so ia advise orang Filipin supaya bekerjasama, as cooperation would reduce their sufferings. They could also pass important information to the underground resistance movement. Underground ini adalah pasukan yang secara senyap cuba akan melawan Jepun kemudian. Their lives and their families were endangered if they did not cooperate. So itu alasan daripada Quezon. Because they wanted to get rich, some became peso millionaires by helping the Japanese use the country's mineral wealth to make ammunition. Tetapi ada je yang menjadi kawan kepada Jepun sebab diorang ni mau kaya sama mau dapatkan supply. So ini adalah pengkhianat. Salah satu anti-Japanese movement yang famous adalah the Huks ataupun the Huk Balahap, the most important resistance group, or in English we call the People's Liberation Army. The Huks were formed in Luzon. Many of its leaders were communists, so diorang punya ideologi adalah komunis. The main leaders were Luis Taruch and Hasan Alejandrino. So apa saja tugas the Huks ni? Number one, the Huk Balahap attacked the Japanese and captured their military stations to get the food supplies. So that is Luis Taruch with the Huk Balahap. That's him. Number two, the Huks attacked the rich landlords and took their lands and distributed it to the peasants. Remember the peso millionaires? Yes, as a result, the Huks got food and recruits from the peasants. The Huks pass the important information. Diorang jadi spy. Segala information yang pasal Jepun, they will send to MacArthur di Australia. The Huks captured many provinces and really helped to end Japanese rule in the Philippines. So this video you can watch on the Google Classroom as well. I can play it here. Ini semasa awal Filipin diserang with the start of Pearl Harbor. And then they captured Manila. So they visited to Bataan and Corregidor. They tried to defend Philippines, but the Japanese were too strong for them. At the end, the Japanese won. Many of the Filipinos and Americans became the prisoners and died. So Japanese used their propaganda, they used the Mickey Mouse money, took over the economy, there was inflation, harga naik, Kempeitai, people suffered, died if they tried to fight the Japanese. How they fight back? Huk Balahap, they used guerrilla attack, warfare, serang hendak. There is Louis Sturge with the member of the Huk Balahap. They gather informations bagi pada MacArthur, and many Japanese were defeated because of the Huk Balahap. And the return of MacArthur, he said, I shall return, remember? That's him. So he landed in Leyte and to fight back the Japanese. Osmena declared Commonwealth return. Sadly, Quezon passed away before the end of the war. March 1945, Manila was recaptured by 100,000 people, civilians died, and Japanese had to retreat, and by July the 4th, 1945, Japanese rule of the Philippines came to an end.